Hi guys, this is Holistic Health with Harry. Today we're joined across the pond, the virtual pond, by Mr. John DePass. Hi John, how are you?
Awesome, brother. Thanks for having me on today. I'm glad to have the time to, share some information with you. And I'm always following you. I'm always watching you. I'm always seeing what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I love your conscious sharing, brother. So thanks for having me to.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, no worries, man. I've come on your show, so now we're returning the favor. We want to get your information out there because we know you're a warrior. You've been in this game a lot longer than me, so you have more experience and you have a lot more wisdom to tell. So I'd like you to maybe if we could start at the beginning of your journey. How did you? Because we know you've been through a huge journey of awakening, and you've been through so much and had to transform and wake yourself up to many untruths. So how did it all start for you, John? Where's the beginning for you?
I'll tell you, for me, it's been a lifetime. I'm approaching 50 years of age now, but I've been working out my entire life. I started sports from a little kid, and from 13, I was already working out and pursuing competitive bodybuilding. So, at 19, I was already Mr. Junior Ontario, the provincial champion. I was in the Mr. Universe competition when I was 23. I was the youngest competitor in the world that year. So, I mean, international level bodybuilding and coaching and fitness and wellness and nutrition has really been a lifetime pursuit for me. I've been a trainer for 30 years. And for 25 of those years, I was doing and saying to all of my customers that they need to, raise the protein, because that's what I learned from my kinesiology degree and my science degrees in psychology. I learned the basic sciences, biology, the mainstream knowledge that everyone that goes into the natural sciences, into the health sciences, this is what we're taught. We're taught we're a collection of cells. We're taught that we're made up of proteins. We're taught that we're made up of fats. And that way we have to eat proteins and fats in order to be healthy. So I followed that and shared that for 25 years as a professional coach and personal trainer. And it wasn't until I started to get into my over 40 years that I started to realize that, this information just isn't really working. It wasn't working for me in my life because I was starting to find my body was filled with pain. I was losing mobility. I was losing function. I was losing balance. I was getting angry. I was getting frustrated. I was getting upset and unhappy. My relationships were not working out. Unsatisfying relationship with my wife, my children. My relationship with my children was declining. My health physically, I was gaining weight and gaining in pain. I was, just uncomfortable pain in my neck, shoulders, hips, in my Achilles tendons, in my knees. Pain was gathering in my joints. Pain was gathering in all sorts of different sites in
And
my
was this while you were building huge amount of muscle? This was happening. You were just
well, I
bulked
mean,
up,
I was a
like.
competitive bodybuilder,
Hmm.
at that international level. From 19, I was junior on Ontario, and I was still competing national level at 30. So, I mean, for 12 or 15 years, I was really at that national level, international level bodybuilding. I was a massive man. I didn't notice the pain until I started to get 40 years of age. I started feeling it growing after 35. But by the time I hit 40, I was out for a walk with my family, and my family was pulling ahead of me. I'm walking back slowly. The dog was with me, and I was upset and frustrated and angry that I couldn't keep up with my family because I had this pain in my knee. And I just was like, what the heck's the matter? Like, I've been fitness and wellness my whole life. I've been actively exercising my whole life. I've been conscious of my foods that I'm supposed to eat to be healthy my entire life. So it didn't make sense that I should be dealing with pain in my body, that I couldn't walk properly, that I couldn't keep up with my family. I'm only 40 years of age, but as I shared this story with people, people just kind of said it was just old age and I just needed to get used to it. This is like the way life is over 40. You start to get aches and pains. And I was like, this can't be right. Like, something's not right. Something's not right with me. And I need to find out what it is. And So I started searching for more. I started, looking into alkalizing the body. I found the information about uric acid.
Right.
As much as we're told to eat the protein diet and the fat diet, when you digest those things, they leave a waste in your body. They leave a uric acid waste in your body. And there's also a lot of digestive stress that those things put on the body. Big chain molecules like proteins are basically amino acids in a chain. When you're digesting heavy foods like animal proteins, which also contain saturated fats and fatty acid chains, you're going to have to create the hydrochloric acid to digest those foods. So that's a work on the body to digest those things. So I started to realize that what I had been doing, ingesting protein on a massive scale, a dozen eggs for breakfast and a dozen eggs for dinner, chicken breasts during my day, tuna during my day, and eating vegetables on top of that, and adding fat oils on top of that, vitamins and minerals for years and years and years and years and years. That by the time I hit 40, my body was swollen,
Right.
filled with inflammation and toxicity from uric acid and from putting my body under physical stress and strain from workouts, like breaking my body apart, because that's what health is.
How were you feeling mentally during this time? Were you feeling pretty mentally depressed? Did you go through any depressions, or were you
angry, frustrated, anxiety? I was medicated for sleep. I was medicated for digestive problems.
Wow.
I was taking ibuprofen daily. I was popping the Zantac and all of the Pepto-Bismol and all of the antacids to try to manage the acid in my stomach. I couldn't have coffee or alcohol because that was just pure acid inside of my stomach, because I was so toxic from a life of a keto diet, a paleo diet, a protein-focused meal plan, which is what the mainstream population is toting as health. Yeah. Vaccinations are health. Antibacterial soap and antivirus is health. Protein is health. Vitamins and minerals are health. Like, health is something that you need to get from outside of the body. This is what I learned from life. And, at 40, it all came crashing down, and I realized that, this isn't right. I started opening myself up and asking, what is it? What do I need to know? What do I need to learn? I've always been a kind of a spirit-minded, conscious type of person. So I was already open to the idea that, I am not just a physical body. I'm a mental body. I'm a spirit body. I'm an emotional body. And part of me is infinite. And I was already open to that idea. I was already spirit-minded. So I started kind of opening myself up to the universe and saying, what's wrong? What do I need to know? What do I need to learn? What do I need to change? I'm here. I'm ready. Like, show me, teach me. And, the answers started to come, Harry. The truth, the light started to be revealed to me.
I like that. So you've been through so much in that point. You got to a breaking point, I assume, at 40, where you were forced into a position to kind of wake yourself up, or stay the same, or get worse and maybe die early, or remain unhealthy for the longest time. So it's almost like there's a similar story. Everyone, John, like everyone seems to go through this in the communities that we're at, some kind of breaking point where we have a road and the fork in the road, and we go, you can either stay here and stay miserable and brainwashed. I don't mean to be rude, but kind of like not knowing the truth, or you can begin a journey of, hey, my body's not working, something's wrong, what everyone's been telling me is wrong, I need to find out the truth. And you obviously very early, very early, I mean,
you've got to seek the truth. You've got to seek the alternative idea, right? Like, that's just it, is that it's an awakening time. There's a time where there's an awakening. Like, we're taught through school to think this way and think like this. We're taught from our parents because they were taught the same way. We're taught from our coaches. We're taught from our friends. We're taught from our doctors because they were all taught the same. stuff in school, and we're all thinking that way. And then there comes to a point in our life where, hey, it's not working out anymore, whether it's a health issue or it's a breakdown in our relationships, which start with a relationship with ourself. It's a separation from self. It's we get into a substance abuse issue. We get into a financial chaos circumstance or situation, and something in our life starts to fall apart. And then, we have to make some serious choices in our life. We have to make some serious decisions in our life, and we have to take responsibility for our life. And that happens, I think, for every human at some point. They get to choose. Do I continue along the path I'm going, or do I choose to step off the path and the method and the direction that I'm going to pursue another way? And I think a lot of people, it's scary and they don't go the other way. They just continue down the same way. They go to the doctor and get some medications, they get some pills, or they self-medicate with marijuana or drugs or more food, or, they start trying to deal with it in, some other way. But really, that's not a different way. That's maintaining the same thought paradigms and attacking the problem with just physical things. Medications, different medications. It's just different medications. It's still a physical solution. It's still taking something from outside of me to heal me. It's not healing myself from within. It's not natural healing. And as long as we continue to live and engage in an unnatural way, we're always going to have an unnatural, unhealthy response, which is more physical pain. That's how the body and life teaches us.
I like that.
Through pain.
I like that. When you said that, yes, that's very powerful. Just to reemphasize that quote you just said, it's you said living unhealthy, unnatural lifestyle will cause unhealthy natural body and an unhealthy natural mind. And that's almost, John, like the idea that if we realign with nature slowly, we do the things that we were designed to do, our ancestors did more of, and we stopped looking to other people for the answers and went within to the sun, to the foods, to the ground, and really took care of ourselves, we'd be fine. It's realignment with nature. I feel that's the key.
Getting natural health. We got to wake up and come back to what's natural. So we have to kind of understand ourselves as a being, as a holistic being, not just a physical being. I mean, if we were just physical, then you could, manage with the idea of calories and proteins and carbs and fats and vitamins and minerals. If we're just purely physical, okay, there's your purely physical answer. But we're not just purely physical. We're metaphysical. We're physical and we're emotional. There's a part of us that isn't physical. I mean, that's something you get your head around. And that may be uncomfortable for some people. They don't want to acknowledge that there's an emotional bit or a spirit bit.
Yeah.
Some people want to deny it.
Yeah.
And everyone's free to choose, right? But my study and practice and research on my own life, and now 5 years of pursuing natural health and sharing natural health with people, I've found that all things heal. Everything heals. Disease, sickness, illness, pain, emotional or physical pain, financial chaos or catastrophe, relationship chaos or catastrophe. It doesn't matter what it is. All things in our life can change. And, you just have to look at the real natural sciences and get into natural health and recognize that there are some natural laws that exist here on the planet. And we have to get into alignment with those natural laws to rebalance ourselves and come back to health, which is within us.
Yeah, I so agree. I love what you just said there. It's been epic so far. And I feel like people have no excuses because the information is out there now. And people like, how did we find this information, John? We didn't just go out there and try it for ourselves. I am an experimenter, but I looked at other people. I went on the internet. There's YouTube, there's Google now. People know diet and exercise are important to health. These are things that people know. And then it leads them down a rabbit hole to, oh, eating fruits, grounding, sunlight, fasting, all these kind of things. I feel like
all these natural things are out there and people are talking about it, but you got to do a little bit of pursuit to find it, because the mainstream population doesn't want you to know about it, because the mainstream population doesn't want to empower you.
Yeah.
It's happy to keep you kind of ignorant and in the dark, and just trusting what they say on the news, and just trusting what the doctor says, and just trusting what the naturopath says, or the chiropractor says, or what somebody else outside of you said.
Yeah.
Don't just blindly trust. What I suggest is, if something resonates with you, if the things that I'm saying to you today are inspiring you, then, hey, follow me. Listen to what I'm saying. Get my book. Follow up on some of the free offers that I give that allow you to have a little bit of conversation, but then to actually practice it for yourself. I tell people it's about the daily practices. What are you practicing? If you're practicing eating cookies and cake, I promise you, you'll get good at
it. Yeah, exactly. What are people practicing on a daily basis? Like, there's almost
What's your daily practice?
I feel like, John, as well, like, people sometimes think they need to do a lot, but very rarely. So they'll feel good by doing maybe a lot of exercise, a lot of like healthy eating, a lot of fasting once in a while, where I think what you just said is key. It's not about that. It's about daily and a little bit, and build up your momentum for you, not for me and John, because me and John probably operate at a different level of frequency where it's normal for us to do a lot of disciplined things. But for you who's watching this, like, you should build up from your own habits slowly and be proud of yourself. Come up slowly, do a little bit for yourself every day.
What inspires you? Right. Find out what inspires you and do that every single day. A ritual, repeat it. You've got to get some sort of ritual. You've got to get some sort of daily habit. You've got to get some sort of daily routine. You've got to have a practice. It's what are you doing each day? What are you doing most often? Because we're a product of what we think, say, and do. What, you know, our life is the result of our most predominant thoughts. So what we're thinking, what we're saying, and what we're doing. Now, what we think about, we think in words. So the words are a big part of it. You got to think it, you got to say it. I got to make myself accountable. I got to say to you, Harry, listen, I'm going to get every single day and I'm going to practice. I'm going to practice this. I'm going to practice these high energy foods. I'm going to practice fasting, right? Like, those are physical practices. The foods that I eat, fasting, getting out in the sun, that's a physical practice. Practicing yoga, practicing breath work. These are physical things that we can practice on a daily basis, right? So I encourage you to pick up daily practices that elevate your frequency, because everything here in 3D reality, everything here in manifest space, in the physical world, has a frequency. You know, check that out. Do some research on that. Frequency and vibration. Everything has a frequency and a vibration. All things do. You know, water, when it's 0, is hard as rock. And when it's 100 degrees, it's vapor. It's still the same stuff, but it's elevated in frequency and vibration. When we change the frequency and vibration, we can change the constituency of things. So if we can elevate the frequency of our bodies and our lives, we can change the circumstances and situations that are in our bodies and our lives. That way we can elevate ourselves out of low frequency sickness, illness, disease, or pain. We can elevate ourselves out of financial ruin. We can elevate ourselves out of bankruptcy. I've been bankrupt twice. Wow. We can fix and heal our relationships. We can restore and build our balance in our life. We can love ourselves. which is basically a balancing of the two bits of ourselves. Natural practices. We need to get up each day and begin our day with natural, healthy practices, practices of thought, practices of word, and physical daily practices that are going to elevate our frequency, rise up our vibration, and change every single aspect of our lives.
Wow, that is incredible. I'm like a little bit awestruck with what you just said. That's powerful. I mean, I know the message, but I love hearing that. And you said it in such a great way, John. That's so true. I feel like as well, you made me think about, you talked about raising vibration. I feel like the purpose of life is to be here. It's in dualistic tone, is to raise our vibration and become a better person. Do you feel that the same way, that we are here to raise our vibration ourselves so we can raise vibration of the people around us?
You know, from what I've seen, from what I learned, from what I've understand, from what I've experienced in the last 5 years, naturally healing my body and my life, is that as I've elevated my frequency, elevated my vibration, that I've seen improvements in all aspects of my life. And when I say all aspects of my life, I say, you know, I break my life down into my relationship with myself. And, you know, if I want to evaluate my relationship with myself, since I started to alkalize my life, since I started to move from this massive, you know, obsessive protein diet and this obsessive strength training program to more of a gentle, stimulating exercise movement program and outdoor natural lifestyle, since I've moved into a working in paradigm rather than a working out paradigm, I've noticed that my relationship with myself has only gone up. So by choosing physical practices that elevate my body, nutritional practices that elevate my body, and a daily conscious practice that elevates my frequency emotionally, as my frequency goes up, I see my relationship with myself improve, my relationship with my wife improve, my relationship with my kids improve, my relationship with my clients and customers, my relationship with my business, my life, with my world, and I feel more clear and focused about what I want to give back to the planet. It's given me clarity about my message, about what I want to say to this world, how I want to share with my world, how I want to engage with my world. It's the way that we put out to the world, the energy or the footprint, the frequency that we give out is what comes back to us. So if we want to have more in our lives with regards to our own personal relationships, with regards to our partner relationships or our kids or with our careers or make more money, raise up your frequency, put out a higher frequency and watch. You'll start to get back a higher frequency in every single aspect of your life. For me, it's all about raising up the frequency and vibration. For sure. That's what life's about, Harry. Raise up your life yourself.
Yeah.
Lift up your frequency.
Absolutely. Again, that's so amazing. I 100% agree with you. So, John, can we run through, if we're going to be specific here, what are some of the protocols? I think you've touched base with a lot of them, but can you run through some powerful, because I think we want to get to information. I think there's a lot of things we can do that raise our vibration slowly, but there's things that me and you know about that raise it to a next level that is going to help people, because I feel like sometimes if people do things slowly, they don't get encouraged. But I started with urine therapy, for example. That really was a shock to me, from tap water to urine therapy, from tap water to distilled water. It was such a shift in consciousness that I got addicted to it and it woke me up. It wasn't a slow method up. It was just wham, bam. Look, I make it every day. I'm going to do it. So can you run through some of the protocols that are really powerful?
If you want to, talk about the urine therapy, that's the first one. That was one of my first ones as well, too. Fasting, urine therapy, sun gazing, grounding, and, high energy foods, raw foods. First of all, let's break them apart and talk about them one at a time. You touched on the distilled water there. Now it's distilled water. That's what urine therapy is. Yes. Urine therapy is distilled water. It's been distilled by the best distiller on the planet. There is no distiller better than the human kidney. Let's get that First off, straight up, the best distiller in the 3D reality is the human kidney. So urine therapy is the distilled water that comes from the human kidney. Beyond that, going above that, further than that, is distilled water that comes from the kidney is not only distilled, it's structured water. And that's water that has more oxygen in it. It's energized water, right? Now, structured water like that can only be found inside of a living being. You got to get structured water from something that's alive. Fruits and vegetables are conscious living beings that are able to take the light of the sun and through a process of photosynthesis, convert the light of the sun into glucose and energy and structured water inside of the fruit. And that's what's so powerfully healing about fruits and vegetables. They contain structured waters, distilled waters. Not only distilled and structured.
Boom. Yes.
A living being has the power to elevate the oxygen that's in the water, the H2O, and make it H3O. It's magical water. That's structured water. That's distilled water. So a caveat, I know not everybody's going to drink their urine. Even in the times of the Buddha, even the people that listened to the Buddha, a lot of them still didn't drink their urine. I know a lot of people aren't going to drink your urine. And so for that reason, I don't really include urine therapy in my health program, my program that I share to help people change their lives. Not to say that I'm not 100% behind it, not to say that it's not 100% healing, not to say that it's not carved in the temple in stone. So somebody believed thousands of years ago that this needed to be a message that needed to be shared forever, even though it's very obvious that it's been very magical in my life and also in yours and in the lives of many people that have shared their experiences of how it's healed and changed so many things in their life. Unfortunately, it's just not received well.
Yeah.
And for that
deliberately, because I feel like that, there's a conspiracy against it, I feel, and I will say that openly, because we're all brought up to think it's a waste product, but there is no way, there's no way there's an accident to me that they put a program in to tell you that something is so powerful as you described, distilled water plus structured water. Why have they done this? It's not an accident. It's a deliberate policy. It's a deliberate thing.
I don't think it's an accident. I have to 100% agree with your assessment, brother. But at the same time, many people think that there's a killer virus out there.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we have to accept that everybody's in a different place. And not everybody's going to see the same truth. And because of that, I don't promote urine therapy inside of my natural healing program. Just because the mainstream population doesn't understand it and isn't going to do the research that's required to understand it and gather the knowledge of it. So because of that, I don't try to fight that battle. I share that information on my page. I share that information with other brothers that are of that awareness, that have come to that awareness. I speak openly about it with anyone that wants to talk about it, but I don't put it out there as much just because I think people automatically turn off when they hear that you're drinking your urine. So,
well, it's a fact, John. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you that I can't get I'm always at never at 5,000 friends, because I'm always getting on a daily basis a couple of people delete me off Facebook. And most of the reason I've noticed for the longest time was because I keep posting about urine therapy every now and again. My numbers I always lose people.
And so it's a massive division inside of me, right? It's and I'm so glad we're talking about it, because it divides me, because I want to be you know, telling the truth. I want to share the truth. I want to openly share the truth. But at the same time, if my truth is hurting me in terms of reaching people,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
then is that my best move?
No, I would say.
You know, so and it's unfortunate that it could be possible that the absolute truth, you know, I've got to support a wife and kids.
Yeah.
I've got kids that are 17 and 16. I mean, when I was 17 and 16, if my dad was telling people in the world that he was drinking his urine, I'd probably think he was an idiot too, right? So I don't blame my 17 and 16-year-old daughter for holding some sort of grudge and judgment that their father is doing this. But that's my division, is that I have a wife and children who are, you know, in my shadow, in that what I say and do can affect them and have people make judgment calls toward them.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I don't share about my urine therapy as much. I focus on the other things that I think are a little bit more easily accepted.
Yeah.
Not that they're accepted, because people do not accept that fasting and vegan lifestyle needs to become more mainstream.
Yeah.
It needs to become more mainstream. And, you know, sun gazing and grounding needs to become daily ritual. Getting out into the sun, putting your feet on the ground. I mean, these ideas need to become common knowledge and common practice, but they're a little bit more easily accepted than urine therapy.
Agreed. Yeah, far more easily accepted. One thing I will add
far
is
more easily accepted. Like, I mean, even in the vegan community, I've got vegan friends that will accept, you know, my fruit lifestyle or my vegan lifestyle, but still won't accept my urine therapy lifestyle.
Yeah.
So even though they're of higher frequency, they're taking in higher frequency foods, even if they're exercising, so they're raising their frequency physically with exercise, even if they're affirming, you know, positive thoughts and words, so they're picking themselves up mentally, emotionally, you know, it's a spillover from mental efforts and word efforts. You feel emotions are the result. So you're picking up your frequency emotionally, physically, mentally by taking these daily practices. If you're doing the vegan lifestyle, you would start to become more conscious. Your frequency should rise. You should start to become more conscious. You know, surprisingly, I still bump into vegans who would attack me for my urine therapy. And I think, I mean, vegans especially, you've been attacked enough by the meat eaters. Can't you get off of the right and wrong and stop blaming? You know, this is the lesson that we have to learn, I think, is that we got to stop with only my way is the right way. That's got to go. Because that turns people off, right? We have to accept people and meet people where they are, because everyone's at a different frequency. Everyone's at a different vibration. And when I'm at this frequency, I can accept and understand this information. Well, when I was an international level bodybuilder and I had this massive physical body, I believed I needed to eat that protein. I believed I needed to push those heavy weights. And in order to sustain that 80 extra pounds, I needed to do that. But as I rose in frequency and grew in maturity and raised my frequency, I started to come into different knowledge and different awareness and understand and realize different things. So as my frequency went up, I was open to different knowledge and different ideas. The idea that I could be healthy on fruits and vegetables, the idea that I could be healthy without eating, never would even have crossed my mind 5, 6, 7 years ago. Forget about it.
Me
I would
too.
have called someone an idiot for that in my immaturity, right? Now I can recognize I've got to meet people where they are, right?
Yeah.
I've got to meet the person where they are and help them to come forward, which means I have to help them raise up in frequency. Now, the best way for me to do that is for me to be a model of it, is for me to actually do it for myself. Saying it's one thing, but walking the walk, it's the daily practice that
Yeah.
models it, that raises up my frequency, and that allows me to speak from a higher frequency or a higher perspective. That comes from stepping into my higher self. How do I get? I got to think about it. I got to seek it, strive toward it. I got to move toward it. I got to take action steps toward it, physical, mental, and emotional daily action steps or daily practices to move me towards my higher self. I got to get up and take action. That's what it's about, Harry.
Yeah, John, thanks again for saying that. While you were talking, I was reminded me of that saying: people don't always care how much you know, unless they know how much you care. And like you said, you've got to be the role model. You've got to do the things you know about, because there are a few people that we know within the communities and around the world that know a lot and way more than us, John. Let's be honest. We look at them, we think they're geniuses. But I also know in our heart, hey, this guy's a genius. He's spouting a lot of great stuff. But I know in his life, he's not living the example of what he knows. And people don't care about that stuff. People care when you engage, when you communicate, when you're an example. People look up to you and see, oh, he's healthy, he's posting, he cares. He might be into urine, telling me distilled water and fasting, but hey, I like him because he seems to care and he seems to be right. And a lot of people are following him for a reason, because he's caring.
So, I'm hopeful that more and more people will waken up to the idea or warm up to the idea of urine therapy, and that I'll feel more comfortable, as my daughters get a little bit older, that I can share that more openly. And, but for now, I'll talk about it with anyone when anyone brings it up, and I share discreetly about it, but I don't include it in my high vibe lifestyle. My high vibe lifestyle is a 12-week body transformation program. It's a 90-day body transformation program where we take physical, mental, and emotional actions daily for 90 days. And then you get to witness that in your life and see that. You get to work with a world-class coach that's going to hold you accountable, because accountability is a massive part of change, right? Like, we got to think about a change. I want to make more money. I want to improve my relationship. I want to improve my health. I want to get over pain in my life. I got to think about it. I got to say it. It's thoughts and words. I got to think it and I got to say it. Now, those thoughts and words are in my brain, my physical brain. Thoughts are things. They're physical things. Thoughts, brain is physical. Movements, exercise, that's physical. Nutrition, that's proteins and fats and carbs and glucose. That's physical. Vitamins, minerals, all of that is physical stuff. My physical self is my masculine self, my thought self. That's a decision that we have to make within the masculine mind. The masculine mind is the boundary. It's the decision. It's the choice. I got to affirm, I am the power in my life. I'm taking responsibility for my life. I'm choosing an alternative direction in my life. Choice, decision, responsibility. These are first things that have to happen. You got to choose. You got to assess what's going on in your life. You got to choose. You got to make a decision to go a different way. And then you got to take the daily actions, thoughts and words. Accountability is a massive part of that. You got to say it out loud. I got to say, Harry, you know what? I want to get myself healthy. I want to make myself well. And then by saying it out there, I speak it over my life. And now I'm going to take action steps. What am I going to do, or my action steps to make that a reality? And now you know that I'm doing it. You know you can hold me accountable. You can follow up at the end of the week and say, John, did you do this? Why didn't you do it? Let's talk about why it didn't happen. Let's talk about what was the stumbling block for you, and let's talk about what we're going to do next week to make sure that you're moving forward in the right direction. That's coaching.
Yeah.
That's accountability. That's a massive part of creating change, right? We got to raise up our frequency. It's physical, mental, and emotional actions and change. And it's thoughts and words. I got to speak them out in my life. I got to say them to somebody. It's just a dream until I speak it out over my life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's powerful. Thanks for saying that, John. It's just breaking up a little bit. So, yeah, that's really powerful. I do want to get out the information about your program. You said 90 days. I think that's a very long a time actually for. It's very long, but I feel like that is the kind of thing that's really going to change someone's life. Because if you do something for 5 days, 6 days, you're not going to invest properly in the program. But a 90-day program will really give you a huge momentum to almost like they walk away from the 90-day program and they've got habits well in place. Is that correct? They've got real habits they can take away.
They say 21 days to form a habit. So let's repeat that 2 or 3 times together till it's ingrained in the person. And then maybe the person's free to go do it on their own. They just need that accountability and coaching and support to get them started, right? The big piece that I think we need to add here is I think we need to add the emotional bit, because everyone in the mainstream understanding thinks about health as exercise and nutrition. That's what we're told. Exercise, you want to lose weight, you want to tone up, you want to get your mobility back. Exercise and nutrition. Change your nutrition, eat a protein diet, eat vitamins, minerals, essential fats, or eat a raw vegan diet, or fasting, or a fruit diet, or a raw food diet. It's change your food and change your exercise and take medication. This is how we manage our health. But there's a part of the human being that we haven't even touched on with this physical bit. The thoughts, the words, the exercises, the foods, the medications, all that's physical stuff, but we're not even touching on one half of the human being. Half of the human being is spirit, emotion, feeling. That's the feminine body. And until we can unite the 2 bits of the being is constantly separated from itself. And as long as we're separated like that, we're in a state of disease. We're going to have pain. We're going to have problems. They start with a problematic thought, thinking I'm only physical. I only need to tend to my calories in and calories out. I just need to lift more weight. I just need to work harder in the gym. That's a broken thought. I am not just physical. I am physical and I'm emotional. I am masculine and I am feminine. And I have to bring those 2 powers into a balance, into a flow, into unity inside of my life. That's love. That's loving the self. That's finding the health that's within us. That comes in stillness. That's settling the division, the separation within ourselves. There's not a bad and good force here, Harry. There's no bad and good. There's no evil and good. What we've got is we've got masculine and feminine, 2 forces that are within us. We have to balance those forces within us. Now, we need to do that physically, mentally, and emotionally to balance and step back into our very most powerful bits. Our united, collective, human soul.
Yeah, I like that. Even I forget sometimes just how amazing and divine the human body is. Like you said, all encompassing, so many different parts to it. I mean, if you big yoga, there's like 5 different bodies: astral, spiritual, emotional, physical, just like you said. So yeah, that makes me really think that even myself, even I could step up. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there's things that I slack on that I could improve. So it's things like this that we need to help each other
We've
to hear
all
these
got bad
messages again.
habits, right?
Yes, and I do, and I'm not perfect. But at the same time, I like to hear people like yourself talk because it reminds me of my divine nature and my divine body that we all have here in the consciousness level. And it really makes me think, hey, I need to step it up here. You know, this is a divine being that we created. We are divine. This is a divine source body. And the more we look after it, the more we will glow in this earth. And it'd be great to see.
And that's why I like to make time to speak to people on a weekly basis. I reach out to people like yourself, like-minded people that are consciously working on improving themselves, picking up their frequency, picking up their vibration, moving towards their best. I like to communicate with people like that every single week, not only because it's great information to share with others, because other people need to know about natural healing. I want to put that information out there in the storefront, but I'm not going to lie. I'm inspired by talking to people like you, Harry. It picks me up by getting myself around people that are of a higher frequency, because they're thinking and speaking and talking about things that inspire me, that pull me back into my center, that pull me back into my balance, that lift up my energy and my vibration.
Absolutely. Yes. We are all here for each other. There's many levels to this, whether we're leaders and followers. We are leaders. People look up to us, but at the same time, we follow, we learn, we stay engaged, we get low moments. And actually, speaking of low moments, I think this year I've been watching the community. A lot of us, and even myself, have had low moments this past few weeks, whether it be energies and stuff. So yeah, we're really going through tough times. And now more than ever, we need each other to really support each other and hold hands and keep going.
Awesome. I love that you brought that up, the low moments. I mean, because that's a big thing. Like, everyone gets into fitness and nutrition and then falls off track and then gets back into it and falls off track. People's weights go up and down. They're gaining weight, they're losing weight, they gain it back again. Now, that's because we've got low frequency, low vibration energy in the body, or shadow energy in the body. And that's exactly what's happening here in the world right now, in my opinion, is that the world is purging right now of some low frequency, low vibration energy. Shadow energy is being released, is being revealed. It's coming out. It's being brought to the light. And that's what happens. That's how the being heals. That's how the earth heals. That's how our world is going to heal. As the frequency and vibration of the world rises, the low frequency bits get exposed. As you start to pick up your frequency of your being, the low frequency bits will be exposed. They'll come out. As you start to pick up your frequency with movement, like yoga, like exercise, which opens up physical toxicity in your body, physical pain, stretches it out, opens it up, allows it out. Once you allow it out and release it, it comes out into your body and your life. You may feel negative thoughts, negative emotions, frustration, anger, sadness, sorrow. This is kind of all a part of the detoxification process. That's what's going on in the world right now. That low frequency shit is coming out because people are raising the frequency of this world. Some of us are pushing the frequency higher, and the low frequency, low vibration shit is coming out. And it's being exposed, and we're seeing it, and it's ugly. And a lot of people don't want to look at it. And I understand why, because it's scary as shit. Who would want to look at that shit? Who would want to believe that people could be like that? Who would want to believe that people would want to be like that to people on the planet and would want to keep massive 99.9% of the population blinded by the truth, following some obscene, crazy ideas about some killer virus? This virus isn't really killing people. Do the numbers. Do the research. Check it out. Don't follow the mainstream bullcrap.
Yeah.
what's happening right now is a purging that's going on the planet. Low frequency and low vibration stuff is coming up, and that's how the body heals. That's what natural healing is all about. The low frequency bits come to the light. The light is within us. The light is formed by bringing the body back into alignment. By bringing the masculine and feminine energy back into balance, we can step back into our light. We can raise up the low frequency bits. We can transmute the low frequency energy. We can elevate it. It's a change of mind. It's a change of habit and behavior. It's daily practice. It's a conscious practice. Consciousness. Consciousness is just sitting with your breath, being present with your breath.
Powerful. Yeah. This has been amazing, John. I want to give you the opportunity to promote your channels so people are aware. But before I do, can I ask you if there's one last message you'd like to leave people with that I haven't covered, that you haven't covered?
Awesome. Thanks for the time, Harry. The last thing that I would want to do and talk about and share information about would be, focusing on the conscious aspect of it. And that is the meditation. Meditation is medication, is true natural medication. Meditation is foundational. Meditation, you can do it sitting first thing in the morning, at the end of the day. You can come into your energy there. You can just be meditating. You can be mindful all throughout your day. All it is just becoming conscious. Consciousness is just becoming aware of what's going on right here, right now. Being present. That's what consciousness is. Now, each moment is separated by a breath. Each moment is an in-breath and an out-breath. That's what a moment is. Each moment is an opportunity for you to engage with your world. When you inhale, the thoughts and words that are going on inside of your head, the energy that's inside of you is being shared. When you exhale, the thoughts and words that are inside of you, you're breathing them out into your world. That's how you engage with your world on a moment-to-moment basis, is with your breath. So what is the thoughts and words and emotions that you're entertaining in your body and your life right now? Get present and get conscious. I can sit and think, I am the power. I can sit and think, I am the creator of my life. Or I can sit and think, oh my gosh, there is a killer virus out there that's going to get me and kill me. That's a choice. That's a decision. That's a choice for me to focus on that or that. That's a decision. I can choose my reality by looking at the information. I can think about it. And then I can take my own personal action and decide for myself that the universe is natural and normal. It's Mother Nature. It's always been here. It's a natural, flowing, loving entity. It has the power to heal and change all things. If it can keep this planet in orbit around the sun, or flat as a plane, whichever truth you want to choose, if it can create this impossibly flat plane or this spinning ball around a massive impossible light, if it has the power to change the oceans in and out every day and change the tides and change the spring and the summer and the fall, if it has that kind of power and it's consistent and it always spins the circle of life, if this is how life is and all powerful and all knowledge and all knowing, why would you think that a man, a doctor, could do something, create something, a chemical, a drug that I could put inside of me that would make me more well, that would make me more than the creative force did? Does that make sense?
Mm.
Be still. Sit in silence and stillness. The fasting is a massive part of that. Emptying out your stomach creates digestive rest, creates stillness in your body.
Yeah.
And then you got to sit in that stillness. And sometimes negative emotional stuff is going to come up. Sometimes shadow stuff is going to come up. You got to sit with it. You got to be with it. You got to be in it. And you got to find the light in it. You got to find the joy and the happiness. You got to learn how to sing in the rain. You just got to be with that uncomfortable bit a little bit to rise up the frequency, to lift up the vibration. If people want to get in touch with me, I got a couple things. I got my website, highendfitness.com. Follow me on Facebook. Follow my page, High End Fitness. I've got a couple of free opportunities. Join in with me for free. I got my 7-day free 7-day detox. If people want to get started with a natural, healthy detox, if they want some encouragement, they want some accountability, they want to try it out for free, they want to experiment with it for themselves, within themselves, try my free 7-day detox. If you want to talk about a 90-day body and life transformation, it's my high vibe lifestyle. If you want to have a free consultation, let's get on a call. Let's talk about what's going on for you, what's happening with you. Let's talk about where you want to go, and let's talk about an action plan on how to get there.
I love it, John. Thank you so much for the information you've given us today. It's been you've been a wealth of information. I've loved it. Some of it I've known, but I needed to be reaffirmed in my own life. So I really appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing, your work. You're appreciated. And I hope everyone's got some value from this. For Holistic Health with Harry, with John DePass. Thanks, guys, for watching. We appreciate it.